I just hate when people feel that they can use you and not respect the fact that they did use you.
You ever watch someone built up as strong, confident, untouchable, only to see the cracks finally show? That's the moment when everything changes. Tonight, we're going deep behind the image, behind the scenes, into the hidden wounds and buried truths. Because Martell Holt has finally broken his silence. He's stepping into the light to expose lies, betrayals, and secrets no one expected. From the outside, Martell has always been bold, outspoken, someone who never shies away. But underneath, those words hid pain, regret, and complicated history. And now, after years of whispers, rumors of affairs, betrayal, dark accusations, he's ready to let it all come out. What nobody saw was just how alone he's felt, or how much he's needed someone to hear the real him.
For the duration of our lives, put some respect on it, because everything that you got now, you would not have touched anything if it would not have been us being friends to you and your family. That's why I don't like fake people.
This story isn't just about scandal or gossip. It's about a man forced to fight back, to reclaim truth from chaos. Stay with me, because tonight, you'll see sides of Martell that cameras didn't show, voice that was silenced, and revelations that will shake the foundation of what we thought we knew.
Marcel, you don't get to say shit else about what you are gonna do or what you ain't gonna do to nobody, because you sat there and ran from this man. You didn't even stand and let them fake hold you back. You decided to run. You're a runner, you're a truck star. You gonna run away when it gets hard. How embarrassing. I don't know what's embarrassing. Tisha getting a drink thrown in her face, or her husband running from a fight.
Long before the drama we see on screen, Martell Holt was a husband, a father, someone trusted by many. But his path wasn't perfect. He married Melody Shari, they had children, and the world watched as they tried to build a life. But whispers always followed them, rumors of cheating, lies, shifting blame. Many cast them aside as reality TV drama, entertainment. But for Martell, it cut deep. In the early years, he faced pressure from all sides. Expectations of perfection, rumors of extramarital affairs, accusations that haunted his every move. Each denial, each rebuttal wore him down. He tried to stay strong for his kids, for his image, for what he believed was his truth. But resentment grew behind the calm smile.
Once I started having people come to me, it was like, well, we've been offered money to come on the show and say we slept with your husband. I was like, oh my God. This
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, this is crazy. People are really offering you money to come on this show and lie. So at that point, I was like, forget it. It's a lie. Now I don't believe anything.
And then came the fractures that no amount of editing could suppress. Trust began to slip. Relationships twisted. Friends who once rallied around him drifted away. Behind closed doors, he wrestled with guilt, shame, and ghosts from the past. The whispers turned to rumors. The rumors turned to accusations. But through it all, Martell stayed silent, or at least publicly so, for a reason.
Tisha is just not letting it go. Where do you and Tisha stand right now?
Oh, y'all gonna have to stay tuned. Make sure y'all watch the episode on Saturday.
Oh my goodness. Because I don't know. I just feel like, okay, last season you mentioned that she was being cheated on. Is that something that Martell, you guys had a conversation about, and that she doesn't know?
That did not know. It has nothing to do with Martell. Even though people assume that Mel is saying that, or she thinks that because Martell told her that. Nope.
You just knew that this is something that happened, and she doesn't know that she's been cheated on. Or do you think that she knows and she's in denial? Zippity lips. I don't blame you, girl. I do not blame you at all.
He watched as his name was dragged. He watched as people questioned his integrity, his loyalty, even the smallest decisions of his life. He felt cornered, defending himself on social media, issuing statements that never felt strong enough, always second-guessing whether people believed him. And all the while, a darker plot was unfolding. Betrayal, not only in romantic relationships, but inside his inner circle, among people he thought he could trust. Through tears, sleepless nights, and regrets he couldn't erase, Martell carried that burden. But the moment had to come when silence served no one, least of all him. Then came the breaking point, the moment everything exploded. It wasn't one lie, it was a chain of lies he refused to live under any longer. He decided to open up, to expose what was hidden behind closed doors. It started with an interview, one where Martell claimed he had receipts against Marsaw Scott, accusations that Marsaw had cheated with dozens of women. Martell insisted this wasn't rumor, not exaggeration, but evidence. He asked, why hasn't Marsaw been able to defend himself? Why hasn't he shown his own proof? The tension flared, verbal attacks flew, Marsaw pushed back, but Martell pressed. He knew things others didn't. But here's the twist. In the heat of that clash, Martell turned his fire toward Letitia Scott. He accused her of past indiscretions, of being nasty in college, of choosing men he called bottom of the barrel. He claimed she slept with his friends, that she had secrets she was hiding. These weren't subtle jabs. These were attacks meant to wound. What nobody expected was Letitia's response. She refused to stay silent. She went on record, not backing down. She demanded Martell show his evidence. She challenged him to produce the receipts he claimed to hold. She insisted that the revenge porn talk, the claims of him sharing private photos, those were real things others had seen. She pointed out that if Martell had these displays on his phone all this time, why hadn't he shown them? The public began to split. Was Martell exposing truth or playing games? Meanwhile, the cameras caught another messy moment, Martell confronting Ariana Curry in a public setting, reducing her to tears with harsh words. The crowd gasped. The moment went viral. Some said it was emotional, raw. Others said it was cruel and manipulative. Either way, it exposed the tension he had inside, the anger, the hurt spilling out. What nobody expected was that Martell had been playing a long game. He claimed he had hidden evidence, messages, photos, proof that would expose the lies told about him. He insisted this wasn't about drama, it was about reclaiming his integrity. But in making these claims, he also risked collapsing the entire house he'd built, because once those doors opened, everything inside came out. Episode by episode, public by public, Martell peeled back layer after layer. He called out producers, castmates, past relationships. He challenged narratives that painted him as the villain. He blamed edits, selective cuts, silences, and omissions. He claimed that people twisted his words, stripped his meaning, and turned him into something he is not. But what he revealed was a pattern, not just of others' betrayal, but of his own falling short. He didn't come off as perfect. He came off as human, hurt, fierce, broken, fighting. He exposed the lies told about him, but also the lies he told himself. He exposed the shadows in his marriage, the lines crossed, the risks he took. And in doing so, he changed the narrative forever. And the consequences were massive. Emotionally, Martell's world shook. His relationships cracked, his friendships fractured. He faced condemnation, support, scorn, defense, often all at once. People who once rallied behind him now questioned their faith. Those who doubted him saw his fury as proof of guilt. Those who believed him saw his honesty as brave. In his private life, he said the attacks wounded his children. He said nights cried, wondering who they believed. He had to justify, not just to the public, but to his own heart. He faced guilt over missteps, regret over silence, fear that in telling some truths, he would lose everything else. Professionally, his brand was on the line. Reality stars walk a narrow line between fame and infamy. Each revelation could lift him or destroy him. He risked being painted as manipulative, petty, a man with vendettas. But he also risked disappearing, silenced, ignored, cancelled. His ex, Melody Shari, responded to his denials, his claims. She pushed back publicly. She challenged his narrative. She claimed how the world perceives her, how she has been portrayed, was skewed. In their history, they had loved, fought, built, broken. His revelations reopened wounds she thought were closed. Letitia's voice became louder. She accused him of defamation. She insisted his claims were not enough without proof. The producers, the network, many watched in silence or manipulated the scene. Social media exploded. Fans were torn. Some said, "Show your proof or shut up." Others said, "At least he's speaking." Some called him an abuser. Some called him a hero finding voice. The lines blurred. The atmosphere became toxic. Yet, through it all, one thing remained. Martell had ignited a fire no one could put out. Now, when the cameras fade and the audience disappears, what remains is the human cost. Martell says he feels exposed, vulnerable in ways he never allowed himself to be before. He says every revelation dredged up past guilt, pain, regret. He said he lost trust, maybe permanently, in people he once believed in. His children, he says, now witness a father whose public battles feel like ghosts chasing him. He worries what they'll believe 10 years from now. He worries how this will shape them, how they'll carry this legacy of conflict and exposure. His friendships died, alliances shifted, people he once trusted turned sides. He said he felt abandoned during the fights, left to fend than a war of words and images. He said the silence was more painful than any criticism, because in silence lies doubt. Career? It's a gamble. Some will rally to his truth, others will mock it. His name is now synonymous with scandal, but also resilience. The story he destroyed might be the same story he rebuilds. But above all, the emotional weight is heavy. When a man opens wounds publicly, hopes for healing, he risks rejection. He risked being defined forever by his worst moments, but he also risked nothing by staying quiet. Tonight, we close not with answers, but with questions. What is truth when stories have been edited, memories twisted, and alliances shifting? When a man claims to expose lies, is he simply destroying illusions or harming real people? When betrayal lives in your circle, is exposing it catharsis, revenge, or survival? Martell Holt stepped into the storm. He opened doors no one asked him to. He exposed lies, but also exposed himself to the same piercing light. In doing so, he forced us to ask, how much do we believe? How much do we doubt? And how many secrets live in the space between? The real test is not in who wins the argument, but what remains after the smoke clears. Will there be accountability? Will healing follow revelation? Or will all this collapse into noise? Because in the end, this story is more than scandal. It's about a man trying to reclaim his truth in a world built on narratives, edits, half-truths, and silence. Martell Holt has finally opened up. The lies are exposed, but the consequences, those are still unfolding. So I ask you, who do you believe? What will you accept? And after all this, what kind of reconciliation remains possible? Let me know in the comments what you think will happen next.